Good morning. We're here at Ballantrae Golf Club with John McClellan, the owner-operator of the golf club. And we're going to spend a little time today talking to John about his experiences with robotic mowers. John's worked with robots now for a few years, tested different brands, used them in different capacities at different times. And he's going to shed a little light on how that's improved his operation or solved some problems that he's come across. So we'll talk to John, get a bit of a feedback on his experiences over the last couple of years. So John, what made you originally want to look at robots, and how did you get introduced to the concept of robotic mowers on the golf course?
Well, 3 years ago, Nige, we got a robotic range picker. It was a game changer. Goes out there every day, shows up for work, picks balls, and gives us zero problems. So when the mowers were coming on market, we started looking into them, and Kress was one of the three that we looked at. And the beauty of these mowers is that they show up. They work through the rain. You can adjust them not to work in the rain, but he'll work in the rain. They show up, they don't steal from you, they don't vape.
No downside.
Yeah, no downside. So one of the things we try to do around here is give a consistent product. And what we've found with these, as you know, everybody doesn't work 24/7. In your grass and during the growing season, you miss a couple days and you come in on Monday and we get the cut and we'll have grass clippings and you have to go out and blow them or follow up on them. Beauty of these mowers is that there's no clippings anymore. They just cut every 2 to 3 days based on your scheduling. As far as around the clubhouse here, which we started with, it was our low-hanging fruit. That as far as people, on the balcony or just playing in or around the putting green, they see what kind of quality they can expect when they get on the golf course. And once we set up around the putting chipping area, we expanded to our first hole, our 18th hole, and quality of cut is comparable to our machinery. We still do a couple laps around each fairway as a kind of a tidy up cut every Monday and Friday. But what we found is that there's no clippings, and when you play one in 18, it's the same height every time you play.
Amazing.
Whereas you being in the business, start Monday morning and the first 6 holes are perfectly cut, and you get to the 7th hole and you're in US Open rough. And what I see the future of these is that from 1 to 18, it's going to be a nice quality consistent play for the golfers. For some of us that don't hit the fairways all the time. Yeah.
Most of us. And how does the timing work out with regard to, most employees are working an 8-hour day, they come in at 6, they go home at 3. That's their day.
Yep.
How do you utilize a robot within the working hours? 24-hour clock?
Well, Henry there, we've named him Henry. He goes 24/7. One of our learning curves, he's a lot smarter than we were. One of our learning curves was the whole scheduling and what he can and can't do. And some of the mapping that I did, we found Henry in a trap because I was too close, or he hasn't gone in the pond yet. We've kept him out of the ponds, but he just goes 24/7. This turf here would be cut every 3rd day. Outside of giving him a bath kind of once a week, depending on wetness of the turf. Once a month we change his blades, which is I can do. He just keeps going. This is November now, and we've laid most of our people off, and Henry's still working for us. So yeah.
Fantastic. Have you done any sort of calculations, or have you got a feeling for what the payback is on the investment of the robot?
Well, we have 3 machines that cut our rough. Those machines, replacement costs are probably $500,000. And then on an annual basis, we would spend about $100,000 in labor just to cut our rough. So I would figure that the addition of this one machine this year, we probably a 10% labor savings. And as I've told you, my intent is to move forward with Kress to add mowers each year and eventually cut our entire rough, the 18 holes of the golf course.
Yeah, we'll see a whole fleet of them out there working on a regular basis.
That would be the intent. One of my longtime rough cutters came to me in the spring. He said, "Is he going to take my job?" So I said, "Well, maybe not today, but yeah." But I told him we have lots of other jobs for them. So
and I think that's a good point, because we talked about that. Talk a bit about that, because people maybe perceive that, okay, getting a bunch of robots, all of a sudden we're laying a bunch of people off.
Yeah.
Whereas the challenges are more about getting labor, and now you're able to reassign them. Is that
Absolutely. Right? We all in the business are a struggle for good quality labor because we're a seasonal business. It's a very specific fit to get good people to return each year. And the other side of it, if there's a savings and I can pay good people with those savings, we all win. So it's not necessarily replacing
Almost
people.
allows
because
you to retain better quality staff because
Absolutely.
they can be focused on better stuff and you can
Absolutely.
pay them appropriately.
Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned the maintenance, replacing the blades. Have you had any other maintenance through the use of this product?
Zero. Yeah.
So that speaks volumes as
Absolutely
well.
zero. Yeah, it's just the blades. I think you recommended 3 to 5 weeks. We actually went to the absolute max. Most of the things I've done this year is try to push it. What kind of levels it can cut, how often, how long the blades would go, and we're about 5 to 6 weeks on the blades. Again, outside of a weekly washing, there's not much to do with them.
Time frame to change those blades takes you?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So most guys could do it in 10.
Yeah, absolutely, and I still have all my fingers. Yeah.
You mentioned the mapping. Before you get started, you have to lay out an area using the mapping cart. Briefly talk about that. How did you find that?
Well, you just take the brains off them, the little circle thing you put on the map or on my little cart that you've provided. Basically, you just walk out your mass area and then take your time and go around your areas that you don't want cut. So we would do the entire golf hole, and then I'd go back and go around the greens, fairways, sand traps. Of course, sand traps with some of the slopes of the traps, that was a learning curve for me because I thought, and I actually did it on purpose. I wanted to see how far he could get down a side of a trap. And as I mentioned before, they were the odd time we'd find them upside down. And of course, you'd get a notification on your app that I'm upside down and come and get me. So I had to learn that and work on my mapping. But basically, after first few weeks and getting the bugs out, we just forgot about them.
And everything's controlled by that app on your phone?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I have it on my phone. My club manager, who's here probably more than I am, she has it. And if there's specific areas, you can, frost days, we can hold them off so he doesn't go out. If there's something going on, we can adjust that. And what we found is that our golfers are really amused by them. So they're out there taking pictures with them, and yeah, it is very much so. Yeah.
And you found the app itself easy to navigate. You guys learned that very quickly.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, smarter people than I learned it quicker than I. But yeah.
The other question I would have for you, John, is you did look at a variety of brands of robots. There are several on the market.
Mm-hmm.
You guys tested different robots in different situations. You've chosen the Kress unit to go work with and maybe go forward with some more units. What stood out on the Kress unit for you that made it a little bit different than the others?
Two things. The quality of the unit is probably the best. Now, the price of the unit is the best too, but the quality of that unit compared to the other ones is, the tires, the construction we found the best. And I guess just for our situation, because this golf club is laid out over 400 acres throughout 900 homes, the RTK factor, that we don't need any specific stations to run the unit. So, we can find power to place a unit out on a a hole or two, and then we just program it and away it goes.
So the RTK systems is a proprietary signal that's all over Ontario and throughout North America, and it doesn't require any on-site antennas or wires or anything like that.
Yes, I didn't want anything to do with wires, and then the antenna issue is a problem for us. I mean, it may work for other golf courses, but for right here, because of the vastness of the property, yeah, the RTK was the choice for us.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And what about inclement weather? Do you have any limitations when you've been using this thing?
Again, we let him go. There'd be the odd time if there was standing water, he would spin his wheels, but he would stop and let us know. So again, it was more us a learning curve of when he can and cannot go, because I know there's a rain sensor on it that would send it back to the dock, but we have not used that. Once we got it under control, like regular scheduling and clipping, there was never enough grass to really slow them down.
Well, I want to thank John for spending a little time with us today. Great feedback. Really appreciate the business and your comments.
Nigel, you're welcome.
In a minute here, maybe we'll take a look at the features on the robot itself, and we'll show you what the unit looks like. We're going to take a quick look at the Kress robot, just some of the features that are on the machine and what makes it work. The receiving antenna is right here. It'll unscrew from the machine and disconnect and go onto the mapping cart when we want to lay out some other areas for mowing. The front of the mower has a bumper that if it happens to bump into something, it immediately stops and changes direction as a preventative, but it also has an electronic signal that goes out that'll normally capture anything in its way before it even gets there. This is a secondary backup just to make sure if the first one fails that there's not a problem with the mower going over or into something that it shouldn't be making contact with. On the side here, we have a rain sensor, so it'll determine if there is rainfall. If you want to set it to return to home when there's been rain, it will do that. If you want to keep mowing, it's a setting on your app on your phone that allows it to keep mowing, but that sensor's there for that purpose. Underneath the mower, you have two twin discs with the blades mounted on them. These blades that are attached to the discs on the mower are breakaway blades. So they have a flexibility to, if they hit something like a stick or a stone that gets in the way, they will spin out of the way and then reset themselves. The blades are easily removed with a Phillips screwdriver when they need to be changed. So depending on how much acreage you're doing, you may change those blades every 4 to 8 or 12 weeks. Here at Ballantrae, they use the mower 24/7, so they're replacing the blades about every 4 weeks. The discs themselves are mounted onto a moving plate. This plate can raise or lower to set your height of cut. It does it automatically once you set the height you want on your app in the phone. This will set itself when it gets into the area that it's mowing at whatever height you've preset it for. The final feature is the drive wheels at the back each have independent motors, so you get a positive drive on the machine, longer lasting than a single motor drive would be, and the overall construction of the unit is very well built. So if you're interested in a really cool robotic mower to add to your operation, you want to save some money, give us a call at All Turf. We'll come out and see you face to face and give you a demonstration and show you how the app on the phone works.